Thank you so much, Prime Minister. Take a seat and we'll have a little chat. Prime Minister, 50 years of unbroken democracy is quite a feat in these challenging times. What factors do you put that success down to?
Tracey, our people's resilience, we've had 10 consecutive elections. Despite the ups and downs in administrating elections, we've never failed to produce governments right after all the elections. So going 50 now, unbroken democracy, a record that we are proud of. And my generation want to entrench democracy and free market going forward. It's the safest form of government for our country of so much diversity, the most linguistic and ethno-linguistic diverse nation on the face of the planet, so to speak. So people's resilience, governments of past, we've had our share down moments, but we've always bounced back up. And I want to say also the role of our independent judiciary. Judiciary remains a strong bastion and security of our democracy, and we're working to strengthen judiciary so they keep people like me in check to do the right thing for the country.
You mentioned law and order and the rule of law in your speech. In what ways is PNG working with Australia under the bilateral agreement to strengthen internal security even further?
Police capacity, police training, as well as making sure our judiciary is strong, and we're asking, and Australia will support sourcing out some judges to be brought back into our court system. So Australia focus more on internal security with us. Our partnership with the US focus on sovereign security.
Australia signed the Defence Cooperation Agreement with the United States roughly 18 months ago. What have been some of the benefits so far from that agreement?
Construction of some military installations, our disaster centre, possibility of 2 major airports being revamped, and a couple of military installations being relooked at, and of course a major disaster centre in the heart of PNG. Over $3 billion of investment would flow as a result of that DCA that we've signed with USA.
Now, you've been restructuring the court system. Do you expect you'll have the numbers to be able to further restructure the system ongoing?
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Will you be able to have the numbers in Parliament to continue to restructure the court system in the future?
It was bipartisan, both sides of the House. And I have a super majority in my coalition on my own. We could pass the bills, but I give credit to members of the opposition. They saw it important, so it was a bipartisan support. And the substantial constitutional amendment has been passed. We're now working on the regulations. And we expect to gift it to our country on our 50th anniversary, revamped, restructured court system that secures the land of so much diversity in opinion, politics, etc.
Now, we've got a lot of investors in the room, of course. How would you characterise PNG's investment climate at the moment?
We have a lot of interest in PNG. And my 5 projects, the 4 Ps and 1 W is throttling along. We have no control over the cost bid by the contractors who bid in Papua LNG, but I think Total gives me a good impression that they're still progressing it, they're rebidding, and Papua LNG is running its own new timetable. ExxonMobil has given indication to me that they're also now doing some early works and pre-feed in Pinyang, to ensure that it's also stacked up well. The earlier intention was to go into Papua, move construction to Pinyang, later on hopefully wildebeest. So we have almost 5, 6, 7, 10 years of construction. Those intentions are still there with the Papua FID timeline shifting a little bit. The adjustments are taking place as we speak. So the majors have not abandoned us, but also below the major companies, you have Kanantu, for instance, and Simberi, for instance, a good resource that's propping up well. So the prospect looks good, far from the 1 or 2 headlines that keeps on running. The general outlook of the investors are positive of PNG, and I think the greater reason is the stable factor we bring into the picture. Once agreement is signed, no governments into the future will break that agreement. Lear is a testament, Porgera is a testament, PNG LNG is a testament. we are a nation that honors agreement. If a government signs today, that agreement runs the full course. There's a fiscal stability to every agreement that we sign, despite regime shifts, or policy changes or law changes. But our country has a proud track record of honoring every agreement signed. And I think our investors look deep and they see that we value agreements, we honor our words, and that's the reason why continuous interest remains in PNG. Today, a bumper crowd of 1,800 is an indication that Papua New Guinea remains an attractive place. Something I did not speak on, Tracey, this year, but last year I spoke. Our carbon footprint offset is huge in PNG. Any investors in oil and gas or mining in PNG will have basically operating in a country that is carbon neutral or carbon negative. So those competitive advantages makes PNG an interesting place for investment.
Let's drill down on the finance side a little bit more. The IMF has projected 4.6% GDP growth for 2024 in PNG. How's it tracking so far, and what's the outlook for next year?
Positive. Not too many countries post-COVID-19 is posting about 4% on average, 4% GDP growth. But if you look below the headline GDP growth, the last 5 years, we've been anchored not just on mining and petroleum sector, but more importantly on the non-resource sector of GDP. We were above 4.5% in the last 5 years, and that shows a growth, and our focus in agriculture and forestry and fisheries is paying off, and that's the way we want to shift. We're not just oil and gas and mining country. We're more than this. We have agriculture of all sorts. We got 15% of world's tuna supply. Yellowfin is caught in our waters, and we got huge forestry for either conservation dollars or harvest dollars. So potential in our country is so enormous. Of course, our biodiversity for tourism and our ethno-linguistic diversity for tourism is second to none. So great round of mix. That's why we're working to strengthen law and order, education, health, these aspects so that it supports a modern economy that is flourishing.
And what about inflation, a topic that's very much on the minds of Australians as well?
Our headline inflation remains under our GDP growth. We've been keeping our inflation, in my view, below 5% on average. And our government remains a great giver of subsidy to our people. Over 80% of our people live from the rural communities. We continue to support education subsidy, free education running all the way to university. We've, in our recent budget, removed GST off 13 household items. That should come into full implementation post-July 2027. We've removed stamp duty from first-time home buyers up to 700,000. So to the best of our ability, we're trying our very best to give subsidy and support to the toilets of our economy, and that's the way we going out to we cushion the effect of inflation in the economy. Our country still imports a lot, and we also import inflation also into our economy. So the reconstruct of a diversified economy in the next 10 years hopefully will give us enough cushion and buffer to live through as we produce our food, especially from within our own country.
You mentioned in your speech that PNG is friends to all, enemies to none. How difficult is it to maintain that balance amongst friends?
It's never difficult. It's just being transparent. You don't play one nation against another. You value each in their own peculiar space, and you maintain that decorum and dignity. And that's just the way we've been playing. We don't compromise each nation's relationship. And I want to say thank you to all nations who relate to us, including Australia. They understand the need for PNG to maintain rapport and good bilateral with all nations.
Well, Prime Minister, congratulations on the 50th anniversary of independence next year. Thank you so much for your candour and for being here today. The Honourable James Marape. Now, friends, we're going to stay here on stage for a photo with James Marape and Anthony Smare, our official group photo, but that marks the official end of this plenary. For now, enjoy the networking morning tea. It's sponsored by the Department of Commerce and Industry. It's in the gallery on level 2. Have a nice snack, get recaffeinated, and we'll see you back here in half an hour.